Greetings and salutations, this is Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hi.
Bringing you yet another video on our ever increasing Chinese army. The last video we did, I showed you the Chinese T-26 tanks, and today we're bringing you the Carden Loyd amphibious tanks. They're nice little amphibious tanks built originally for the British Army. The British Army decided it didn't like them, but China decided to buy lots of them because for China they're actually quite useful. China is full of water. They're fitted with a not brilliant machine gun, but if your enemy don't have a tank or an anti-tank gun, and you're trundling along with a light armoured car, which is basically what this is, with a machine gun, then you have an advantage over the enemy. And we have proved that in our bolt action games, haven't we? These tanks have actually come into their own and been quite useful when the Japanese haven't had any weapons capable of taking them on. So
lost.
Yeah, anti-tank grenades can be built pretty quickly.
And my anti-tank stick.
Yeah, you got your anti-tank grenades and various other hollow charge things which you can use, but bear in mind you're attacking what is effectively a very small light armoured car, and you're wasting your troops taking this thing out when you could be doing something more useful like attacking enemy infantry and taking positions. So it's a handy little tool to use, even though light tanks, this isn't even light tank. I mean, in the rules it is a light tank, but in reality they were just tiny little reconnaissance vehicles designed for either recon or infantry support, directly supporting infantry with a mobile machine gun. And although the use of these things in all armies pretty much dropped out, the British had the vickers, the Japanese had the various tankettes, Italians had tankettes, the Germans had the Panzer Is, and the Panzer II, although I think that had a cannon on it, that had a 20mm cannon. And the Chinese had these things, which are quite nice little vehicles, and I quite like them. I think they look quite good. And China was basically the only country that bought them, so they're very Chinese centric. And I thought if I was going to build an army of Chinese nationalists for fighting against the Japanese, then these are the way I want to go. So there they are, and some figures just to give you an idea of the scale. These things are tiny. They're about the size. They're actually slightly smaller than my first car, which was a grey car with 4 wheels. I know nothing about cars. I know about tanks. Tell me tank. I'll tell you anything you want to know about tanks. Actual motor vehicles that you see on the road today, I ain't got a clue. They're all boxy with 4 wheels. I don't even know what my car is now. What is it?
It's a Volkswagen.
There we go. Well, that didn't tell me anything. I can show you some Volkswagens in my own figure collection, but they're nothing like the one that I've got.
I forgot its second name. Yeah,
it's got a name. Right, so this is the shiny Chinese tankettes for our Second World War game. In the rules I did mention these are actually classed as armoured cars, so they only have an armour of 7, I think. Is it 7 plus?
Yeah, 7 plus.
Yeah, 7 plus. So they're basically the weakest vehicle you can get, but it is armoured. And unlike the German one that we totally lost out the other day, it's not open-topped. Whereas the German one did not react well to a flamethrower being open-topped.
No, it didn't.
It just didn't work out for it.
The crew had a very bad time.
Yeah, that basically turned into a torch. These guys are a little bit better. Yeah, but that's it. Questions?
What do you mean by amphibious?
Amphibious. Yes, they're designed to swim. Basically, they're tiny. They're actually quite fast in water. If you ever you go on YouTube and look these things up, you can find some video footage of them actually at the period doing stuff. They can swim underwater, and the tyres are actually designed as paddles at the same time. Tracks. They're designed to be paddles as well, so you can actually swim through the water. Very useful for northern China because you've got a lot of small rivers and streams in the area, and a lot of paddocks and flooded areas, marshland, So they're great. It's the same reason the Russians and the Germans had so many amphibious vehicles, because there are a lot of areas which are flooded. So there you go.
How can they swim underwater without drowning?
They don't swim underwater, they hover just above the water. These here are flotation tanks, which are full of air, and they're sealed. So they're flotation tanks, and it basically sits right up to just the edge there in the waterline. I could make one in waterline, but I don't really see the point. But yeah, that's what they're for. So it doesn't actually submerge. Some of the late war German tanks were designed to submerge. The Russian Joseph Stalin tanks could submerge underwater because they were too big to use bridges. So they were designed to swim underwater, drive underwater. They had a huge snorkel you stuck on the top. The Tiger and pretty much all the later German tanks could swim underwater. Very useful thing to do, because if you try and drive over a bridge, the bridge will collapse because you weigh 44 tons. Is it 56 tons for the Tiger 1?
I don't know.
Is it? Something like that? It will just crush any bridge you try and drive over. So instead, you have a snorkel on your roof and you just go straight through the river, which can be surprising to the enemy.
The big noticeable snorkeler coming out of the middle of nowhere in the water.
Well, think of Doctor Who and the Dalek coming out of the sea, out of the Thames.
I never watched.
That's cool.
Doctor Who.
No, okay.
I'm not a fan of it anymore.
Yeah. But it's quite a useful thing to do. These guys are designed to float as opposed to go underwater. So there you go. The Russians came up with an idea of waterproofing their T-34 by covering it in pitch, which was great, apart from the fact the crew used to suffocate because the fumes of the engine would flood into the tank and kill the crew. So, not that good an idea, really. But fit a snorkel to it, you're probably going to be fine. Next question.
They're all the questions for me.
You're not very questiony today.
No, I can't really say much after that tank one.
Okay, fine. The camouflage is splinter pattern, patchwork, which is the same in the for the other video. I'm not going to go into that. I did that in the last one.
Check it out if you want to know about it.
Yeah, this was used by the Chinese from before Shanghai up to up to 38, really, and then they started moving more into the olive colours. So there you go. So that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're planning on doing your own Chinese army, because if you are, then you can cite me in your videos. And there it is. That's it.
And so, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and comment down below if you've got any questions about these figures, and we'll answer them in a Q&A video about a bolt action. That's everything from me.
And me. Goodbye.